Have you ever wanted to do something so bad that you do anything to get it? Have you ever done that? What's up, family? What's happening? It's 6:30 Thursday. Time to get a little shopper. What's happening with you? Hope you're doing well. Y'all see who's hanging with me this week?
I'm back.
That's right. She's back, and I'm so glad she is. Makes a difference when she's here with me. But look, so I asked that question, and of course I started thinking everything I did to try to get her. Yes, right. I jumped through hoops. But anyway, 24 years later, we still here. So I ain't mad about it. But anyway, have you ever done anything? I mean, just think about that. Have you ever done anything that was just, you wanted it so bad that you just did whatever you felt like you needed to do to get it? And how did that turn out? How did it turn out? Sometimes it probably didn't turn out too well. It wasn't all that was cracked up to be, right? But then sometimes you was glad you did it, right? Because it did work out. Like in this case right here, 24 years later, we still together. So, and I give God thanks for that. But look, I asked that question because we about to jump into Genesis chapter 16. Mm-hmm. And for all you, what's up, Tish? What's happening? A little sis. But for all you soap opera fans, all you reality TV fans, all you folks that love drama, I got some drama right here for you. Genesis chapter 16. If you want some drama, look at Genesis chapter 16. We got all that wrapped up in one right here in Genesis chapter 16.
The real life.
Real life. Go ahead.
Sarah and Hagar.
Sarah, Hagar, Abram, Ishmael, all of them up in chapter 16. So look, we're going to talk about chapter 16 here real quick and get on out your way. But y'all know what we always do before we get started. So let's go ahead and do it. Here we go. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. Hopefully that deep breath right there did you some good too. You see, we hanging out by the water today. Just wanted to get out the house, just get a little different surrounding today. But anyway, let's do this. Genesis chapter 16. So we're going to take it from the top. We're going to kind of walk our way through this thing. But Genesis chapter 16, my gosh. Here's your drama right here. Here's your drama. I'm just going to read it. Now, Sarai, however you're supposed to say her name, Abram's wife, had not been able to bear children for him, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her."
Stop right there.
That's it right there. We ain't got to go no further right there. The drama, all that, reality TV, soap opera, set up right there from the very beginning.
Right.
Come on with it.
And as Ron said in his first question when we came on, have you ever been so wanted something so bad that you would do anything to get it? And so this is an example of how Sarah wanted a child so bad that she made a decision to have her husband sleep with her mistress to have this child.
Ladies, holler back on that one. Come on now. Come on, go ahead. Keep talking, baby. Keep talking. That's just, come on. I mean, no, you got it.
Yeah.
Come on. Go ahead.
She didn't think this one through. But then again, at the same time.
Come on, around. Y'all good. I'm sorry.
At the same time, she, it was the first introduction of like surrogate
motherhood right here. It's first instance of it.
Abram had no other choice but to actually have intercourse with Hagar.
Did he really have a choice?
Well, no, I'm saying because we don't have modern technology where they could have taken, his sperm and her egg and implanted it in Hagar. So back in that day,
actually they still could have. But anyway, okay, I got what you're saying. Yeah,
modern technology wasn't there. But as I was saying, I don't think Sarah really thought this one through.
No, she didn't. And one thing I want to add real quick before we go further is one thing that I always tell you, read it for yourself. Read it. Read the scriptures for yourself. Don't rely on the pastor or us on here or anybody else you may listen to. Go search the scriptures for yourself. This one right here, and another reason why I tell you to do that is because you can read it multiple times and get multiple interpretations of the same scripture, right? Today it can speak to you one way, another day it speak to you another way. And the first time I read this, the first thing I thought about was unhealthy relationships. Okay, that's the first thing I thought about, because Hagar and Sarai, Sarai has her husband go sleep with Hagar so she can have a child. Well, now you done created a relationship here, right here. That's not good for y'all relationship, right? And so that was the first thing I got out. And you got
Yeah,
something? Yeah,
well, yeah, and not only did you created a relationship between your husband and this mistress,
right,
you
right,
know, because we are human beings, so we have emotions and we have feelings, and as you can see, as we go down further, we're going to see that, you know, Hagar kind of maybe developed some feelings for Abram, you know, and developed some negative feelings towards Sarah, you know.
And Sarah did towards Hagar as well.
Right.
You know, that was back and forth, I felt. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so this, you know, this word is alive. You know, it talks about real life situations.
Yep.
It's still alive.
This ain't nothing new. This happens all the time.
It's alive. So it's talking about the things that we go through in our lives today.
Yep.
Go ahead.
And so as I said, that was the first thing I got out of it, you know, talk about unhealthy relationships. But then I went back and read it again, and it got a little, this is my own little, y'all bear with me. You know, I'm not a comedian, but many of y'all saw the movie Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Remember that movie, Tyler Perry movie? Well, that, I don't know why that popped up in my head, but it did. And I just changed the title. Instead of Diary of a Mad Black Woman, it was Diary of a Woman Gone Mad. That's what I call this one right here. Because Sarah set this up, taking matters into her own hands. Yeah, and the problem with that, she didn't consult God with this. And so then, that's a problem right there from the very beginning. You taking something this drastic, you taking this drastic of a step to get what it is you want. And like my wife said, she didn't really think this one through, and she didn't consult God. So then you'll get mad because all hell breaks loose. And now you want to lash out at Sarah, at Hagar. You lashing out at Abram. Even said, God gonna see who's right in this. As you read it, he even said God gonna decide who was right or wrong in this one right here. But you never even brought God into the equation from the very beginning, right? So what I saw was a situation where she didn't get mad because what she had planned to happen didn't happen the way she did, and now she want to blame everybody else except herself. Okay, now that's another dose of reality right there when we talk about this world we live in. How many times you've been around someone that they did something, but they want to blame everybody else instead of taking ownership? She set this up. Now, Abram had a choice. He didn't have to go down this road, too. Abram ain't totally clear in this one, sorry. But he had a choice to make himself. But as we talk, reality, deal with it. Ain't too many men gonna turn that opportunity down. Let's be real about it. My wife is gonna sign off and tell me she want me to do this. So how many men gonna really turn that one down? Not too many when you tempt a man with something like that. Let's just be real. So again, she didn't really think this one through. Come on, man.
Yeah, from a woman's perspective, you know, we will make some, you know, desperate decisions, you know, when our clock is ticking, because again, we're human. Sarah was human, you know, and she was desperate. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
we're dealing with reality.
Dealing with, you know, human emotions.
Yeah. Connection. There we go. All right. Can y'all hear us? Hopefully we had a little pause. Not the best signal out here. So we're going to try to keep pushing. But anyway, yeah, so You talked about that too. But anyway, so let's keep going because we want to get to Hagar next because Hagar is also we've been talking about her, and Hagar is the one that was the mistress, was the servant of Sarai, and Sarai ordered this situation because she wanted her to be a surrogate mother, and so now Hagar is being mistreated by Sarai. That's how I'm going to choose to say her name. I don't know the proper way of saying it, but we're going to say Sarai. Sarai, now getting her feelings because this thing ain't working out the way she thought it was. And she feel like somebody catching some feelings. And this just didn't work out how she had planned. So now Sarai is mistreating because Abram even told her, hey, that's your servant. Deal with her the way you want to deal with her. And so that's what she did. So Hagar is like, look, I ain't dealing with this. I'm out of here. So Hagar, she leaves. She runs away. And in scripture says the angel of the Lord met her. And the first thing that tripped me out is that the angel of the Lord met her at the well. And he pretty much asked her, hey, where you coming from? Where you going? Now, we all know that's a rhetorical question, or according to Google, a rhetorical affirmation. That the angel of the Lord already knew what was going on. So it's like, why the angel had to ask that question? I don't know, but he did. The angel asked that question. And long story short, she explained why she was running away because Hagar was mistreating her. And Sarai was mistreating her. So she's like, I'm not fitting to sit here and take this. I'm not dealing with this. Okay. And so, she jet, but the angel said, look here, you're going to have to go back. That's a problem right there, right? Let's just think about that. You've been mistreated in a place and the angel of the Lord is telling you to go back. How many of y'all will really be willing to go back to a place that you really don't want to be at? Just think about that. I mean, you being mistreated. Think about your job. Think about relationships. Think about various places various things you might have been in. And now you're being told to go back to a place where you're being mistreated, where you're not feeling welcome. How would you deal with that? But the angel of the Lord told her, and then he said, let me read it exactly what it said, because I don't want to misquote it. But it said, let me find it where I had it. He said, then he added, I will give you more descendants than you can count. That's what the angel of the Lord said to her. And so, I just want you to think about it. I got to thinking about that piece right there. I don't know if you had anything to add on that one, but just really thinking about that part of going back to an area or a place that is really not, you don't feel was healthy for you, wasn't good for you. It didn't make you feel good. It wasn't a comfortable place to be. It wasn't a place where you felt loved and welcome and wanted. And so how would you feel if the Lord told you to go back? Yeah. So,
I have something. Well, one of the things that I saw in here too, that I wanted to bring up was the fact that, Hagar was Egyptian. Mm-hmm. And so, here you have an Israelite or Hebrew, creating a child with an Egyptian. Mm-hmm. So back in Genesis, we had to deal with mixed race. Yeah. Mixed race, mixing of races, so.
Which we see that today.
Yeah.
It never stopped.
Exactly. And so I don't think there is any kind of, like pure race. Right. It's all intermingled.
I mean, there was a scripture together that I said not too long ago where everybody came from cut from the same cloth. But go ahead, baby. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so then, as Ron said, she ran away because she was mistreated. And so the Lord told her to go back there. And I feel like the reason why he told her to go back there was sometimes our plans are not God's plans.
Facts.
God had a reason that he wanted her to go back. Mm-hmm. And it may not even have had anything to do with Hagar, but her descendants that was going to come, out of this.
Yes.
And so, as Ron said, sometimes it's hard to go back to a situation that, you're not comfortable with, or you have been abused or, mistreated. I'm not saying go back to an abusive situation.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
But,
we're not saying that.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense to our natural mind.
Yes.
But, sometimes God has a purpose and plan.
And that and you kind of just led right into what I was wanting to say lastly about this, and we're gonna get out your way. But the last thing I wanted to say about this, and we're gonna touch on Ishmael real quick. But I do want to say this in regards to when I was reading this part about Hagar and the angel of the Lord telling her to go back because her descendants are going to be plenty. What I got out of it, y'all hear me say this all the time about relationship with God. And relationship with God will help you to be able to discern certain things. Because sometimes you need to leave, and then sometimes you need to go back. And relationship with God would help you be able to discern what you should and shouldn't do. Okay? Now, we know we're not going to be perfect because our flesh rises up, and we sometimes don't always consult God like Sarai didn't. And so sometimes we put ourselves in some positions that makes it a little tough for us to really decide. But the closer that we get with God, the more relationship we have with him and seeking him first, then he's going to direct your paths. He's going to make it clearer which way you should go. There's always going to be a little bit of apprehension, I feel. I could be wrong, but sometimes more than others. We have a little apprehension because we're just not sure. Like in this situation, she mistreating her. Hagar is mistreating Sarai. I mean, Sarai is mistreating Hagar, and Hagar ain't feeling it. That's why she ran away. But then the angel of the Lord is telling her to go back. I'm sure there was some tug of war there. I'm sure really was some tug of war there. But he assured her, you go back because your descendants are going to be plenty as a result of this. And so relationship. You got to make sure you seek him first so you can make sure you're going in the direction he wants you to go. Okay, yeah. Come on.
And I like how the angel met her at the well. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the Samaritan woman when Jesus met the woman at the well, And, as I mentioned before, one time I said, women matter to God. The life, your life as a woman matters to God. He's concerned about us all. And so again, this is a good example, where, God sent an angel to kind of minister to Hagar and help her get through this tough period that she was going through,
God uses women so we can be here. Let's be real. So that leads into how Ishmael got here. Ishmael got here because of women being able to have kids. So Ishmael comes along. And we're just going to touch on Ishmael because you're going to hear a lot more about Ishmael later. But Ishmael, the name Ishmael says God hears. So God heard her at the well. Okay. And that's why he told her the name. Now, Ishmael, it says in there, and I'll read it for you what it says. It says, they're going to name him Ishmael, but it said, I lost my spot. Y'all, please help. Okay. But it says, the son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey. He will raise his fists against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives. Now, why did they say that? We're going to find that one out much later. But right now, the fact of the matter is, Ishmael's name is God hears. And this situation right here was a test for all of them. Okay. The main thing is we want to make sure that we have a relationship, and we want to make sure that whatever we do, we seek him first so we can get direction, make sure we're moving in the right direction that he wants us to go. Okay? Just make sure we're doing that, because sometimes we make some decisions and do some things that we really weren't supposed to do. How y'all doing? Yeah. There were some things right here. We have a situation where Sarai made this decision and she didn't seek God at all. She didn't seek him at all. And then you wonder why the bottom fell out. Seek him first and his righteousness, and all these things will be added. And he will direct your path. Okay? Just know that. Come on.
And sometimes when you do have to go back into certain situations, you just make sure that you give God all the glory.
Yeah.
All the glory.
Yeah.
You know, and and know that it's not anything that is done on your own strength and own accord, but all the glory belongs to God.
No doubt. There it is. So with that, we're going to be out of here. Appreciate y'all. Another Thursday. We're here to make it do what it do. So just thank God for this opportunity. Appreciate you checking in, hanging out with us, listening to us. Hopefully you got something out here to encourage you. Keep pushing, keep seeking him, and go make it do what it do. As I always tell you what, pray, plan, prepare, proceed. I ain't tell you to do it this time. Go make it do what it do.
What it do.
I love y'all.